Rhonda. Sorry we didn't get to meet together in person today, but I'm making you a couple of videos so that you can be challenged a little bit this week. Hopefully you'll still have some time to sit down and practice. The plan for the videos is I'm going to make 3 short ones. The first 2 are going to be out of your theory book, so I'm going to need you to get that first. You know, you can always pause or rewind if you need to. And then the third one, I think what we'll do is we're going to keep working our way through the Pachelbel Canon piece. So I think last week I assigned you the first 2 sections to work on. They may or may not be ready, but I thought what I would do is show you the next 2 sections, and I'll play each of the hands separately so you can hear what they're going to sound like. But the other cool thing about that is that once you get a feeling of one hand or the other, you can try playing along with me. So we'll see how that goes. But that's the plan. So this first video, I'd like you to turn in your theory book to Unit 9, which is page 32. And I'm assuming that you're going to just stop me and open up to that. So I'm going to just keep talking. You were working on the primary triads last week. That was what your assignment was in theory. And you've been playing these. Those are the primary. 1 chord, 4 chord, 1, 5, 7, 1. They had you working with the 5 chord. Our second video today is going to work a little bit with the 7th chords, so we can understand them a little bit more from a theory perspective and start recognizing them when we are finding them in our music. Today, what I'd like to do is the cadences. And you've been playing cadences. I probably have even used that word because it's just something really important that pops up in our playing. Cadences bring us to either a pause or an ending. So they're either kind of endings of phrases that give you like, okay, well, so we finished that section, or you're at the very end, like probably the one that you know most famously. That would be a 4 chord. Let's see. That's probably more what you're used to singing. But way back when, we used to sing those amens on the ends of hymns. So if you look in your book, I jumped to the middle. That's called a plagal, where you're going from a 4 chord to a 1 chord. And those, I think for the most part, are always at the end of something. The authentic cadence, which is the one that you're most used to playing, would be that 5 or 5/7 to 1. And in this case, your book shows you going from a G chord down to a C chord. But you're probably used to hearing them. So this is a 5 chord without the 7, and then up to a 1. That's what we call an authentic. Anytime you're ending, you're going from a 5 and you're ending on a 1, which is most of the endings of our songs, really, unless you've got a plagal. The half cadence is flip-flopped. So you're starting with a 1 and then you're going to the 6, or the 5, I'm sorry. So it's a tonic and then a dominant. And sometimes we do end on a dominant. In fact, it doesn't always have to be the tonic. There's a little a footnote there that reminds you or tells you that half cadence is anything that's going to end on the dominant. So you could have any chord before that dominant. It doesn't always have to be a 1 chord. But that's our clue that it's a half cadence. So your assignment this week, first of all, is just to practice on that page 32. You're going to practice writing an authentic cadence in each of those keys. Then you're going to write a plagal cadence in each of those keys, and you're just going to use those root position chords. You don't have to do it like what when we're doing it. When we do it with our cadence playing, when we're going like this, you're doing it with what we call inversions. So we're going to talk about the inversions later, but right now we're just talking about doing them in your root position. So notice you only have to write them walked up like a snowman. That's page 32. And then page 33, they're going to show you that we can write them. Oftentimes, I'd say most often, they do have a common tone. We've got, let me do there's there's a plagal. And did you notice that I kept that C because there's a C in the tonic chord, the C major chord, and then there's a C in the dominant or the subdominant chord, the F chord. So I just kept that the same. And oftentimes if we were writing music, we might find that we would just keep a common tone. And you can see they've shown you a couple of examples. Your authentic one, the common tone is like this, the G, the top note is the same. The plagal, we've kept the C the same, and then in the half cadence, we're keeping the G again. So the instructions for that second part are draw the common note cadences with the tonic triad being in the root position, the subdominant in the second inversion, and the dominant in the first inversion, and then label those. So you're going to write where you see authentic, you're going to be in D major, and an authentic is going to start with the dominant, and then you're going to go to the tonic. And the plagal will start with the 4 chord, and you'll go to the 1. But because if you do these the way they say with the inversions, you should have the common tone thing happening. The nice thing about that is it doesn't sound, that sounds so jumpy and choppy, and but if we can keep those common tones, it's so much more pleasant and easier to play, I think, because you're not doing all that geography of jumping around. So experiment with that. If you have questions, I'm just a text away. We'll do this, and then the next video I'll go into Unit 10. So there you have the cadences. See now, once after you've worked on this, see if you can find cadences in your music that you're playing, because they're there. They're all over the place. You just have to find them, and then I may just ask you in a song, okay, what kind of cadence is that? So be aware. All right, there's your cadence video.